listen, again, some of the conditions in Sri Lanka are specific to them. Bad decision making, the hit to the fertilizer thing, the hit to the tourism industry, all of that, the tax cut, all of that is true. But it is also the case that they are not the only nation that is on the brink like this, that is already seeing protests, that is already in danger of default, that has their debt rated as distressed. And so you really could have a massive domino effect here. And even if you're, here in the US or in other parts of the rich world, if you think you're going to be unaffected, you're fooling yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is just the connection of all of this. And this is what people don't get. The natural gas crisis, it doesn't hit the Germans. Yeah, they can afford it. At the end of the day, they'll be poorer. The Pakistanis, they can't afford it. They just have straight up blackouts for 12 hours.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know, Pakistan is hot as hell at this time.
They almost defaulted as well. They narrowly avoided a default recently.
Sri Lanka, what happened? Africa, these nations, which relied a lot on this oil, I mean, or on gas, or on Russian trade, or Russian visitors. We were talking Egypt,
Russian wheat,
for
Russian
example.
fertilizer.
Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt, that place is basically run by the Russians. Well, if visitors can't come, well, they're screwed. And so there's going to be all sorts of insane, crazy effects. This is what we saw in Iraq. There are 40th order consequences, and we could have 40th order consequences which are way worse than the initial invasion of Ukraine. Who knows? I mean, it could lead to complete global instability and the rise of some insane dictator in some part of the world, which we have no idea of predicting. And the longer that it goes, the more likely that outcome is going to happen. I mean, the longer that it happens, the 40th order the chaos injected into the system, and people have to try and balance, is the chaos worth it relative to the political goal which we're accomplishing? I don't think we're accomplishing our political goal.
And that's exactly right. And these countries, I think it's really important to underscore, were already pushed to the edge because of the COVID crisis and because of the fact, that you had mass illness and sickness and death, and you had huge economic impacts, especially countries that are really dependent on tourism, as Sri Lanka is. So you already had these huge debt burdens, and then when it becomes more difficult to pay that debt, and when you have higher food prices, higher fuel prices, inability even in certain instances to be able to obtain fertilizer, even if you're allowing it, even if you want it, because so much of that comes from Russia. You have a very, very precarious and very dangerous situation in a lot of nations around the globe. So this is but the first of many that I think would happen.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.